Okay, hopefully this time it will actually stay the right direction. There's one of them that will be sideways. So you'll just have to, you know, turn your computer sideways. Sorry guys, it is the necessary evil to turn it on and then adjust it. We are all deprived of the sleep. How did we make it to Friday?
I don't know.
Hello.
Actually, I went to bed rather
We've
early.
been through this before. I always skip over 8 hours.
She is not here.
do?
She's out sick
I
today.
can't function if I don't have at least, like, I mean, usually it's 9.
Okay guys, so today, I didn't get it set up like I did yesterday. I was
That's
doing
alright.
so well. So we'll have to copy and paste. First of all, let's just kind of do a little check-in. How's everybody doing? Is watching the videos still working? We will get to the point where I might have you do on the side, like, there's translations that are simplified translations, like same vocabulary, just the grammar has been simplified. So I might start throwing those in as like a, hey, do this to earn grade and practice translating, but also watch someone translate the real version, the full version. Okay, so I'm gonna go in and plug those in for the next couple of passages and see how that goes. And if it goes well, then we'll continue. So those are called tiered readings. So be looking for those on Canvas. We need to be doing history and mythology, but it's like my problem is feeling like we need to get through the material. So I will at some point next week assign to you a history mythology project of some kind. It'll probably be history this time, and like I'll kind of set you up and be like, all right, so this is the time period we're going to do history projects over. You guys are going to teach it. Make sure you have a handout to hand to everybody and a presentation, and it'll be worth about 100 points. Go. Sound good? Yep. It'll be history. Don't look at me like that, Cohen.
Like we each get a time period, or we each get a
You'll each get a figure.
subject within the time.
A figure, an important figure, or a time period. Probably a figure, though, because the time periods are weird. So that'll be coming. I just hit the desk. Anyway. Hopefully I didn't cut off the side of the TV. I don't think I did. Okay, you're just gonna... Did I cut off the side? Can you tell on that end?
Thank you.
There's just a lot of... That's as far as I can go. Okay, that'll have to do. So, we're doing 2 videos. It's 124 through, what's the last line number?
131.
131.
And then, well, the other one goes to 131.
Yeah. So before we even start, there's quite a few rhetorical devices in this particular passage that, well, I shouldn't say quite a few that don't show up. There's one that this is the most famous example of that rhetorical device. In fact, when you go and look up this rhetorical device and it gives you examples, it'll give you this example. It's called aposiopesis. And aposiopesis is where you cut off like mid-sentence and just stop yourself. And it's usually in a situation where someone is so angry that they just have to stop and take a deep breath and continue, and they're going to deal with that later. Think about how many times you've had me as a teacher for 3 or 4 years. Think about how many times I would be like, yeah, okay? That is aposiopesis. Yes? All right? Except normally people do not descend into gibberish. They pick up with an actual sentence, right? Okay, as we see here with Neptune momentarily. This is not what I want. I want my Latin library. Maybe. Do you like it? I got to customize it. The Latin library. Doop. 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 You said what?
Huh?
124 to 131? No, there were 2.
141.
141.
It's the water.
No, I was working on it, Kevin. That wasn't a finished number. Yeah, we're reading it backwards now, Colin.
Reading 2 backwards.
So, okay. Emily, could you go over to my desk and grab that turquoise folder? It's on the over by the marker board. Thank you. So those of you that are gone, don't forget, I upload all of the notes that I'm doing that you see on the board. The actual thing is uploaded online as a PDF so you can see it closer. Of course, you've got the videos, and you've already found the video if you're watching this. And the phone always cuts off at 33 minutes and 10 seconds, and then it picks back up, and I don't know how much it loses because I don't have another 40 minutes of my life to find out. So, I'm sorry. I'm doing the best I can. Okay. So with the first line, we have inter rea magno miscere murmura puntum. Does everybody hear the murmur? Okay. So you flat out have an onomatopoeia with murmure. Yes, that is an onomatopoeia. I don't want to use black. Something fun, but also visible.
Pink. Or
Purple. Purple. We use, but not fat purple, skinny purple. Okay. So this is an onomatopoeia. O-N-O-M-A-T-O-P-O-E-I-A. Okay. O-N-O-M-A-T-O-P-O-E-I-A. Onomatopoeia. There's a rhythm to it. O-N-O-M-A-T-O-P-O-E-I-A. Onomatopoeia. And remember, that is pow, blast, murmur. A sound that is, a word that is the sound that it makes. Crash. Splash. Split. Rip. Yeah. Split. Rip. Yeah. Rip.
I don't understand split.
Split. You never heard the sound a banana split makes? When
Or
you're
like a tree splitting.
or a tree splitting.
The wood.
Okay.
Cohen is confused, for those of you on the video who are kind of wondering what the dead air is. We're all staring at Cohen's confused face, and it's entertaining us because it's Friday and we're tired. And by we, I mean me. Okay, so, and then you have the magno miscere murmura, and that, of course, hopefully you picked up on alliteration, whether Fast Talker said it or not. He did say it, but whether he said it or not, hopefully you picked up on your own. And all of this is, so remember we talked about Virgil does the best at making a picture in your brain, right? Okay? So you can just picture Neptune, he's minding his own business, hanging out on the couch, eating sea kelp, watching Netflix, watching SpongeBob on Netflix. And all of a sudden he hears murmur, 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 and it's like, what the heck? He's like, I did not authorize anything to be happening with that part of the ocean today. What is going on? So he has to put aside his kelp, disturb the little dolphin that's curled up in his lap so that he can go and find out what the heck is going on. So that's the magna miscere murmura. Okay? So then this whole thing right here, like miscere is an infinitive. Okay? It's a passive infinitive, in fact. And then emissam is missing an essay, and that is also an infinitive. And all of these infinitives are triggered by the verb sensit, okay? And so that's a verb that happens in your head, right? Okay, so if it's a verb that's happening inside your head, that triggers indirect statement. Right? Yes? He sensed that. Okay, he sensed that. And then you have, part of, as your indirect statement, you're going to have an accusative subject, or possibly more than one, and at least one infinitive. You could have more than one, as we have here. So our first accusative subject is actually pontum, and Fast Talker does this thing sometimes. He's not very consistent, but I love it when he does this. Like, it's accusative, but it's your subject, so it's a circle with an X.
Looks like
Okay.
you're cutting a pizza.
It does. I had pizza last night and for lunch. Yeah. Papa John's was like, you have rewards that are about to expire. And I was like, do you have coupons? Because your pizza's way overpriced. And they were like, yes, we have coupons. And so all of this was my talking to the internet, right? So I got like $60 worth of pizza for $20. It was fun.
Oh, which one says gluten-free pizza?
Ah! Nice. Okay. So he sensed, so you're looking for an accusative and an infinitive. So pontum goes with miskeri, right? So he sensed that the sea was mixed with a great murmur. Okay, so that is ablative, as Fast Talker No, did he mark it? He didn't mark it. It's like the best ablative ever. Ablative of manner. What do you say, Fire? Hang on, Fire's thinking. Alright. So he says nothing. He says it's nothing. Unless I'm not looking on the right page. I'm not looking on the right page. Ablative of attendant circumstance or manner. So yes, it is an ablative of manner.
What was it about?
And I'll have to bring in there's an ablative for that t-shirt, and you'll have to see if you can find the one that's made up. Because there's only one. Like, all the rest of them are real. But that is an ablative of manner. Never mind about attendant circumstance. Okay? So that's the first thing that goes with the indirect statement. But the next thing that we have is emisam erse hiemem. Okay? So we have another infinitive and another subject, this time hiemem. And he sensed that the sea was being mixed. Notice it's passive. So the sea was being mixed. And I translate those infinitives as a regular verb, but he sensed it. Okay? So whenever we're looking at indirect statement, okay, our infinitives, we only have three possibilities. We have present, and we have future, and we have perfect. Okay? And that is because, I'm going to see if I can make this an image that I can then keep all together. Can I do that? I don't know what noise I'm making, but I'm having a lot of fun. Like, we have reached a whole different level of Whipple tired. It's been quite a week. Well, anyways, okay. So, and then you have the rest of your timeline. No, I don't want to select anymore. Now I want to draw. Why can't you just keep up with what my brain is doing? Okay. And then you have your regular timeline, right? You have present, future, future perfect, imperfect, perfect, pluperfect. Okay, so all of these things, actually I should be like, this should be down here, this should be perfect. Hang on, I need to make it back to, I have a plan, it's just not translating to the page very well. Give me 1 second. We're going to move all of this up for just a second, and I'm going to put the perfect down here. This was so much easier back in the days when I just had transparencies on an overhead. Because I'm going to show you what happens. Okay? So what happens is, whatever your main verb is, that's present becomes the unfinished version of that time. Okay? So, like, my main verb is perfect. Alright? So that means that my present infinitive is going to be translated as, oh, I didn't want to do that. Okay? Oh, and then it's being all weird. Stop it! This will work, those of you watching on the video. Quit being silly. Okay, So it's not going to bring that present, but that's okay. The P. So all of that goes here, right? So our verb is perfect. Everybody see sense it? Yes? And we realize that's perfect from sentio. Yes? So that means that whenever I have a present infinitive, I'm going to translate it as was, or were, or was being. Okay? If my main verb is present, then I translate my present infinitive as present. Future becomes would. He knew that he would. Okay? Or he knows that he, if from a past perspective. From here, it's present, it still will. But from back here, the future from a past perspective becomes would. Okay? And then you notice if you had a perfect infinitive, it would be pluperfect. So the thing to remember about indirect statement is that your infinitives are just kind of this slidey scale. And wherever your main verb is, that's where you line up present, and then everything else slides down with it. Okay? For example, I'm going to move my slidey scale back up here. Okay? For example, stop it. I just want to scroll down now. Thank you. Okay, so for example, we already have sense it. Okay. Coming up with sentences off the top of your head is so much fun. Puer skeet puellam pulchrum essay. Okay? What?
I said
Alliteration.
alliteration.
It does. It is alliteration. I didn't mean to. But it is. Okay? So, right. So this particular thing, we're going to look at skeet and essay, and we're going to see what happens whenever we change those things. Okay? So puer skeet, the boy knows that the girl is pretty. I'm not trying to be sexist. I'm just trying to come up with example sentences on a Friday. Okay? And it's just, you know, girls, what, she's just pretty? Like, there's nothing else about her? Like, no, I'm just trying to come up with sentences that I can easily compose and that I can easily manipulate to show you. Okay, so if we change skeet to, for instance, ski-wit, what happens to our translation of essay? It still stays essay. That doesn't change. But our slidey thing does. We're going to play this game again. Okay, our slidey thing does change. Why did it work so well the first time and now it's not? Okay, our slidey slide does work because first it was present. So our infinitive was translated present, right? Our main verb was skeet, which is present tense. So our main verb is, our essay is translated is. But then when I slide it down to line up my present with ski-wit, am I still going to translate essay as is? Stephen, you look like I'm doing witchcraft. I get it. Okay, so hang on, I'll move my slidey thing up here so it's not like right on top of it, but you can kind of see. Okay? So now my present infinitive has to be translated at the same time as my main verb, right? Because that's the point of present. It's happening at the same time as my main verb. So now it's the boy knew the girl was pretty. Because present tense is now imperfect when it's the infinitive. Okay. Okay. Now let's say that we do the boy. Well, let's just change it to the boy. Skiwit. Fuisse, which is the perfect. Okay. Well, hang on. Let's start here. Skeet. The boy knows that the girl has been, right? Everybody with me? Because we've got our slidey. We're present lines up with present, right? So that means my perfect infinitive is perfect here. Yes, so has been. Okay? But if I change that main verb from skeet to skiebat, then all of a sudden I need to translate my perfect infinitive as pluperfect. So then it becomes the boy skiwit fuise. All of a sudden it becomes new and had been. Okay? So that's why whenever we see sense it with miskeri, which is present, okay, and emisam esse, which is perfect, basically what's happening is sense it is our main verb, right? Okay, so I'm just going to erase it and put it right here. Sense it, right? Miskeri is here. And then we also have a misam understood essay, right? So miskeri is going to translate as imperfect, and a misam is going to translate as pluperfect. Because that's how it works. All right, the present tense is happening at the same time as the main verb, and the perfect infinitive happened before the main verb, whatever that was. If we had a future infinitive, we would translate it as would. Okay, this should be future. It got cut off up there. Does that make sense? Yeah? Okay, so that's why it's Neptune sensed that the sea was being mixed and that a storm had been sent. All because of how the tenses of the verbs relate to each other. Okay? Not to worry, I have a magical worksheet from Mog that will help you out. Okay? Magical worksheet. I'll get it posted and we'll work through it together next week. Okay? But that was just kind of a necessary little aside to explain all of this is indirect statement and why tenses work the way they do. Okay? And why it's important to be able to recognize your tenses. Okay. So, was being mixed, had been sent, Neptune. Okay? And he sensed that there's actually more. Okay? He sensed that the this is actually Refusa essay as well here. He sensed that the still waters had been poured into the lowest shallows, I think is how that goes. Is that how that goes? Yes. Okay. All right. And he is gravitor komotus. All right. So komotus, of course, is describing Neptune. Graviter is an adverb. You can tell because of the iter. Okay. So graviter is an adverb. And from the deep, looking out.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Bless you.
He has one of my favorite. Okay, this is one of Mog's favorites too. He has. So this is ablative, and this is accusative, and this is accusative, and this is ablative. So, what is that pattern? That is a chiasmus. In case you're wondering, how do I know? It's A, B, B, A. It's because these two words go together and these two words go together. Sometimes they don't have to go together. It's the same form. Okay? So, but look at what he's done. Where is his head? Okay? So, according to the sentence, we've got high waves, and then in the middle of the sentence, we have his head. Literally, a calm head in the highest wave. Yes? Everybody with me? So that's what chiasmus does here, and that's why it's one of my favorites. All right, just like the king in the middle of the dark cave. You can literally put the king in the cave with your words. This one is just easier to draw, sort of. I can make those better waves. Ooh, ooh. Okay, turns out no, I can't. So, but there you go. A calm head. So extulit, he lifted out a calm head from the highest wave. And then we have another indirect statement, this time triggered by he saw. Okay, the good news is it's okay if you don't translate it as indirect statement. You'll be able to get there. So he saw, and notice dysyeiktam goes with klasim. And dysyeiktam means scattered, right? And he literally has dysyeiktam as far away from klasim as he possibly can. They are literally scattered across the sentence. Yes? So he sees the scattered fleet of Aeneas on the whole sea. And then we have another A, B, B, A. In case you didn't think that Virgil and I think the same. Chiasmus. Right? Here and here. So let's see. So this is Summa, Unda, Kalakidun, Kaput. That picture will be on your test. And not really. Identify the rhetorical device. Chiasmus. Okay, so he sees the scattered fleet of Aeneas on the whole sea. Or you could say he sees the fleet of Aeneas scattered on the whole sea, either way. That's not all he sees. He sees in the waves, flutibus, the Trojans oppressed, ablative of means, by the ruin of the sky. In case you wonder where I get my melodrama. By the ruin of the sky. Luckily it is poetry. Okay? But oppressos goes with troas here. And then you see La Tuera, and he told you in the video what form is La Tuera actually, but that'll be, that's a test question. What's going on with La Tuera? Oh, come on, kids. It is not an infinitive. Because you see that oo era, that doesn't happen with infinitives. So it's actually, come on, kids. Erunt. Yes? Because you fit erunt into dactylic hexameter. Okay. So, and this is kind of interesting. And so doli, you're going to kind of want to go to like dolor, sadness. That's not what this is this time. This is tricks. Okay? We're going to see this word again in book 2 whenever we're talking about Sinon. Of course, we don't translate the passage with Sinon because it's very difficult. But we'll read it. You read it in English. All right? But doli is tricks. For the tricks and the angers of Juno have not deceived the brother. You guys, most of you have siblings, yes? Mm-hmm. Like, you walk into a situation that's all messed up, and you're like, that was Susie. Mm-hmm. It just has Susie's fingerprints all over it. I picked Susie because I'm pretty sure none of you have a sister or brother named Susie. So.
You could say Brian, I don't care.
What?
You could say Brian, I don't care.
Yeah, but this is going on the internet.
You could say Hannah, but it's never Hannah.
Hannah is pretty perfect. All right. You're Yurimadse Zephyrim Kwe Wokot. Okay, so lately I've been watching a lot of MasterChef. So this phrase particularly resonated with me because they're doing the team challenges and something's going wrong.